G'day and welcome back to MCS. If you've been following along some of my videos recently, you've probably noticed that down here in the land down under, it's a beautiful summer season and lots of bike riding and lots of climbing. So I've decided that today I'd give the legs a bit of a rest and see what we can do about this gearing. Now at the moment, I'm on this bike here, I'm running a standard chainrings, a 53-39 up front, and on the back I'm running an 11-28 cassette. What I'm finding is if I'm doing a lot of big rides, when the gradient starts to get above 10%, I really need to get out of the saddle and push that the lowest gear I've got. I've got to hold quite a bit of power, about 300 watts. And it's not really possible to sit down and recover much. Today I'm going to look at seeing what we can do to fix this gearing. Now the very first thing, the first option I have is the cassette. Now I'm running the old Dura Ace 9000 or 9070 Di2 in this case, and I think it will take an 1130. I think it will take a 30 from what I've been reading, but that's pretty much a brand new 1128 cassette on it. So if we look up front on these chain rings, as I mentioned, it's a 53-39. So I'm looking at my options there. So of course I could just go out and buy a new crankset, but as we know, something at a similar Dura Ace level as this, we're looking at some decent coin. That would be the simplest thing. Just slap on a compact crankset, a 50-34, and call it a day. I'm trying to do things a little bit economically here and just use what I've got at home in the garage a little bit. So we'll keep our powder dry on that option as well. Now my Bianchi is running a single chainring at the moment, and that was running a Shimano 105 5800 crankset. It's running a 52-36, so you guessed it, I've got a 36 tooth chainring here. So what I'm thinking of doing is swapping out this inner chainring on this crankset for the 36, so swapping out the 39 tooth for a 36, and that will give me a fairly, it'll give me much lower gears. Now, 3 teeth, that's about a 7% reduction, but obviously swapping out the front chainring also has the advantage that it lowers the complete, all the ratios on the back. Now, I'm not inventing anything new here. I have done a bit of research on the forums, and as far as I can tell, a 36-53 should work okay. We'll see where we get to with this, and I think the first thing we need to do is we need to get the chain off and get that crankset off. So now we just need to undo the 4 crankset bolts and get this 36 tooth on there. Now, eagle eyes out there will notice that I'm actually missing a bolt here. So there's a bit of maintenance 101. It's only until I did notice a bit of creaking on this bike, and you immediately think it's the bottom bracket. But when I started to look at this job this morning, look at that, I've only got three crank bolts left in there. Okay, so now it's just a matter of getting these 4 bolts off with my Torx T27, whatever that is. 3 bolts. Only 3 on this one because I'm missing one. It's Shimano's Racing 3 bolt system. Yeah, asymmetric, extra asymmetrical. All right, so we got the chain ring off, and I'm not sure if you can see there, but there's the size difference. So as I mentioned, it's 36 versus a 39. There's not that much of a difference in the overall diameter, although I guess that's what we're after. That's the objective. Weight-wise, the Dura Ace item weighs very little, and the 105 one, that also weighs very little. There's 3 less teeth, so there you go. Saving weight as well. Now we'll just bolt this one on with the four bolts. We'll go all out and we'll put 4 bolts back on. There's an added bonus for me. Make sure that you don't tighten them all around evenly first. Usual, don't tighten one up all the way. Now these are aluminium bolts, so they're going to be very easy to, you should probably be using a torque wrench, especially when you've got a heavy hand like me. So I'm being really careful to not overdo it. Now I'm notorious for stripping bolts, so I'm being extra careful here. Okay, there we have it. Our hotted up, modified 53 36 tooth Dura Ace crankset. Probably the best part about this setup is up here, it still says 53 39. So I can still pretend that I'm a big tough rider, and it'll be our little secret that back here is actually a 36 tooth chainring. So there you go. So it's just now a matter of getting this back on the bike, get the chain on, and see how it shifts. It's all back together now, and I'll get the camera on there, and I'll let you see how it shifts. All right, I'm just past mid cassette. So here we go. I'm shifting it into the big ring. So that wasn't too good. That's back into the small ring, and now shifting it into the big ring. See, there is a bit of a hesitation there. I'll tweak it a bit more. It's got to shift better than that. Now I think that lowering that rear mech was probably not a good idea. As is usually the case, it's best to just leave things alone and see how they go. Now I think I need to raise the rear mech a little bit, and I think that it will shift a little bit better then. I'm just going to give that a shot. I'm going to put it back to where it was before. Beauty! I'm happy with that. It's very hard on the stand. The bike isn't really clamped very well, and there's flies attacking me, and so it makes it a bit tricky, but to actually pedal with some sort of a simulation. But you can see that was a beautiful change. I think that's pretty much as far as we're going to get with the bike on the stand. The only thing that's left to do is get lycra up and take it for a spin, and I'll report back with how it goes. Okay, I've taken the bike for a quick test ride, and the good news is I'm on an absolute winner. The thing shifts beautifully. It shifts all through the cassette, no issues. I tried shifting under power. I tried shifting under no power at all with barely turning the pedals. It works really, really well. I can't wait to get this thing out in the hills. So there you have it. Now I'm running a 53 36 chainring, and it still says 53 39 on the side, so I look like a boss. So it's not just the pros with their fancy mechanics that can run these hybrid setups. You two at home, you can, with a good old-fashioned hammer and a set of Allen keys, you two can run similar gearing. Oh, and as a bonus, there's no more creak as well. So it looks like the creak was not the bottom bracket, it was just that missing chain bolt. Anyway, cleaning it all up and putting it all back together seems to have eliminated the creak as well. So that is a big bonus for me. So I'm absolutely wrapped. I can't wait to get this thing out in the hills. Well, with this newfound climbing gears I've got, I can imagine there's going to be a lot more climbing videos coming your way. So stay tuned, and as always, thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video, and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.